All right, we continue our 3-2-1 look of Nebraska's positional groups here, where we give you 3 things we learned, 2 questions, and 1 prediction going forward. Now it's on to the wide receiver position, and here are the 3 things we learned in 2018. Number 1, Stanley Morgan is going to be missed. He leaves Nebraska with virtually every single receiving record, and not only that, he's been a great blocker, he's a great special teams guy in a lot of areas for the Huskers, a great leader in the locker room, and it was good to see Morgan get that record, over 1,000 yards. He's the first 1,000-yard receiver in Nebraska history. The second thing we learned with Nebraska's receiver position was J.D. Spielman fit right into the Scott Frost offense just like we thought. It's unfortunate, though, that a foot injury really limited Spielman down the stretch. It was something that he battled. Even in the final 3 or 4 games he played in, it was something that bothered him, and it was during that Illinois game where he injured his foot, and that was it for him. That was kind of the final blow that he took at that time. But a guy like Spielman and his versatility, he's made for this offense, and you saw just what they can do with him and some of the big plays he gave Nebraska, as he was by far their biggest play threat all season. And then finally, number 3, all year Nebraska really tried to find that third receiver, whether it was Mike Williams or Jerron Woodyard or even someone like Tyjon Lindsey when he was still here. But it was the little-known Cade Warner that emerged as Nebraska's third receiver option. And you got to really credit Scott Frost. I mean, he was able to recognize some things with Warner, take a chance on him, and it worked out. Now, he's not the burner of a Morgan or a Spielman, but he was in the right place, right time. You saw some of the plays he made, including the big 2-point conversion play at Iowa that tied that game at 28-28. And he's got a bright future in this program, still listed as a walk-on. I'd be very surprised if he's not on scholarship immediately after the great season he had here in 2018. And now it's on to my 2 questions with the receiver position, and I think the first one's a pretty obvious one. How do you replace the production of Stanley Morgan Jr. at receiver? He gave Nebraska over 1,000 yards, nearly 1,000 yards as well in 2017. I don't think it's really fair to say just one player can give Nebraska 1,000 yards. I think clearly J.D. Spielman is going to be probably a 1,000-yard receiver, though, in 2019. And then I think you have to look at kind of a committee of players, whether it's a Cade Warner, Mike Williams, Jerron Woodyard, that group of guys together, even the tight end production, all of those guys are going to see more balls thrown their way with Stanley Morgan now off to the NFL. My other question with the receiver position is, where will Nebraska get their big plays from? I think this offense needs that burner. We know Spielman can give Nebraska big play production, but they still need, whether a Mike Williams or a Woodyard or even a newcomer that's not even on the roster right now, somebody needs to give Nebraska another big play element at the receiver position to go with what J.D. Spielman already provides to the offense. And finally, here's my prediction for the wide receiver position. It's really paved right now for true freshmen to come in and play, whether that's Jamie Nance out of Oklahoma or Darian Chase out of Washington, or even an unknown body, whether it's a transfer or someone we don't know. I think there's going to be a new face, not on the roster right now, that's going to play a big role at the receiver position just because of the hole Stanley Morgan has left this football team. Well, that wraps it up here with our 3-2-1 at the receiver position. Tomorrow, we'll break down Nebraska's tight ends.